I'm all in on crypto, and I have been for months because of what I'm going to share with you in this video. You see, there's certain data and charts out there that are going to allow me to prove to you without any shred of doubt as to why the major blow-off top phase of this bull market is ahead of us and not behind us. It's going to allow me to prove to you that the Bitcoin breakout to all-time highs will be happening within the next few days, and as soon as that happens, the altcoins will explode like you have never seen before. If you have any shred of doubt as to whether or not we've finished the bull market back at the end of last year, or whether it's the right time to be holding altcoins because they're yet to start performing, then you're in the right place. Because by the end of this video, you're going to understand that being sidelined right now is probably one of the most dangerous moves you can make as a crypto investor, because if you're forced to ape in after those prices start to pump, you're going to really hate it. So, without further ado, hit the like button. Let's get into today's video. Now guys, if you're subscribed to the House of Crypto, notification bell turned on like you should be, then you will understand that I've been bullish for years now, but most bullish ever since April lows, when many people were screaming that the bull market had finished, that we were heading into a bear market. But I stood firm with conviction that we were going higher, and I was able to do that because of what I'm going to share with you in this video. It's actually a chart, and it's actually hundreds of years old, which sounds a bit weird, but trust me, this is going to be something you're going to want to see. Now, I told you in my last video that Bitcoin would be breaking all-time highs within 10 days of that video going live. We have 8 days left. I'm still confident that Bitcoin's going higher because of all the stuff with M2 and what's happened with gold, which I'll talk about later on in this video, to give you a little bit more warm, fuzzy feeling that things are actually all right, despite the fact that the alts have been dipping a little bit recently. But not to worry, as soon as Bitcoin hits all-time highs, the risk curve will suddenly swing like crazy and everyone will be aping into everything again and trying to buy into SUIs and XRPs and Cardanos and ICPs and whatever. Many people will be forced to buy in 40 to 60% higher than they would if they just bought in today. So how have I managed to stay so calm throughout all of this cycle of ups and downs and all the other bits and pieces? Is it the M2 money supply? Well, yeah, that helps. But actually, it's something far simpler than that. You see, right now, if we look at a weekly chart for the Bitcoin price, we're above all-time highs. And we have been above all-time highs, when we're talking about weekly closes, by the way, for nearly 2 weeks now. Obviously, the price has topped previously higher on these wicks, but actually, things are looking very strong. But yet, I still go to my comment section. I still see people saying things like, yeah, but this bull market finished back in December. This bull market finished in January when we had that kind of Trump pump and all the other stuff like that. If you think back to that period of time, how did you feel? Maybe you did feel a little bit excited, but you probably weren't in the phase of euphoria. You see, charts and everything like that, they're great, but actually the real indicator for everyone should always be the emotions in the market. Crypto markets, stock markets, any other markets out there are designed to extract value from one party and move it to another party. Think about that. Crypto markets at the end phase of this, they are designed to move money from your pockets into the pockets of people with more money who've been buying in lower down than you have. Okay? It sounds rough. It sounds bad. And that's what I'm trying to do on this channel, to make it fair so that you can actually be able to fight against these guys and understand how this game really works. So if you haven't already, subscribe, notification bell turned on, and then let's learn to think like the big money are thinking. Now, for those of you who thought I was going to crack out the Wall Street cheat sheet, you're wrong. I'm going to do that next. But instead, I'm going to crack out this. Now, bear with me. This is going to be really, really important. This chart comes from 1634, which is 401 years ago. And I want to prove to you a point, that every bull market ends in the same way. And I'm going to prove to you that our bull market didn't finish in January or December, like many people are saying. You see, this is a price chart for the tulip bulbs in Holland back 400 years ago. And you can see various different phases of this. Now, tulips, obviously simple flowers, and for some reason that I'm sure some historian can fill me in on down below, 400 years ago in Holland, everyone started to ape into buying tulip bulbs. Obviously became the fashionable thing, probably something to do with like the king buying them or whatever. Anyway, it got to a point where tulip bulbs were worth far more money than gold. It got to a point that one tulip bulb was worth like 10 times the salary or the annual salary of a shoemaker, which is obviously just ludicrous, right? It went to this absolute crazy, crazy phase, the new paradigm phase. Now you're already starting to be planted with the seed of what the new paradigm's going to look like. Bitcoin is being bought up by governments. Donald Trump has created this Bitcoin fund and he's going to be blowing up Bitcoin to the moon, and ETFs and all these other exciting, very shiny things that tell us that there is going to be a new paradigm. Like XRP is going to be running the global financial system, like all of these other bits and pieces. Okay, this is the paradigm where we shift and we start to believe in that stuff. Many people don't believe in that stuff yet because the price hasn't started to push us to believe it. But once the market starts pumping like crazy, we're going to start to believe it, or you're going to be forced to believe it, at which point you want to be getting out the markets. Now, bearing in mind that the new paradigm means that more and more people flood in, more and more people with less understanding of what really they're investing into, blows the price up far beyond its actual value without fail. Without fail, that causes a catastrophic sell-off every single time. Okay, every single time. Once that catastrophic sell-off hits, it doesn't come back for a good year or more. In some cases, it never comes back. As we've seen in Bitcoin from the last bull market, in the bull market before, we never ever came back towards these prices again. It never happened, okay? And if you're wondering, yeah, but I hold altcoins, I don't hold Bitcoins, pay attention, okay? Because Bitcoin is the leader. What Bitcoin does indicates what's going on in the macro environment. The higher Bitcoin gets, the more risky people want to get, the more dangerous decisions they're going to take, and the more they're going to start to push down into those riskier assets, which are altcoins. Guess what? Okay, Bitcoin right now is very, very close to breaking into this point that's going to send everyone into FOMO time. You see, this is what happened last time Bitcoin did it. Can you not remember what happened? Okay, we went sideways 8 or 9 months. People were like, bull market finished. Okay, bull market finished. We get to around the 4th of November. Suddenly, Bitcoin breaks beyond all-time highs. Within a week, Bitcoin goes up 21%. 2 or 3 weeks later, it's up 47%. Okay, if Bitcoin goes up 40% from here, that's it pushing towards 136, maybe even towards 150k. Now, I'm not saying right now that that's going to happen in any short space of time, but guess what? As soon as that happens, it's going to alert everybody around the world, every little Timmy who's been sat sidelined thinking that this bull market's over, that everyone's just going to ape back in, okay? And this is what's going to cause altcoins like Sui, for example, that did already go up before the 4th of November, but went up around 440%. It was sat up around 258%. As soon as the 4th of November arrived, when Bitcoin breaks all-time highs, Sui goes up 68% in 1 week. It goes up in 2 weeks, 112%. Sui's already been pumping like crazy, and you're saying that the bull market finishes. We don't see altcoins having relief rallies like this. Altcoins don't have relief rallies that take them up 100, 200%. It just does not happen. And this chart is hundreds of years old, and this is how every single bull market looks. Guys, look at it. Look at this chart shape. And now let's look at Dogecoin on the last bull market. You see, it's exactly the same. Okay, this is exactly how bull markets work. They go into crazy blow off top mania phases where people are buying stupid stuff for insane money. It's all linked to every market out there. This is the Wall Street cheat sheet. Psychology of a market. Euphoria, I'm going to be rich. We're all going to be rich. I don't remember hearing that from many people back in December, January time. Okay, I definitely didn't feel it, and I spend a lot of time in these markets. I invested in what I think is some pretty good altcoins, and yet I didn't feel at all like this at that point. And I know many people are then saying, well, yeah, because with this bull market it's different. It's not, okay? Hundreds and hundreds of years of data show us that every bull market blow off top, particularly at the risk end of the scale, particularly in like the crypto and stuff, is always the most aggressive, most explosive part of the market. Okay, so enough like just telling you that things are good, we're going to get higher and higher. I know what you want me to look at. I know you want to look at that crypto chart. I know you want to see Bitcoin and you want to see whether or not we're going to be higher by like tomorrow or the next 5 minutes or whatever. So let's do it. Okay, Bitcoin, as you can see, is pushing into a strong area of resistance. And it did something very interesting yesterday where it wicked all the way down here and it created a what's called engulfing candle, where we had a very big red candle versus this quite big green candle. And I saw some very experienced traders all across Twitter being like, engulfing pattern. Suddenly everyone was like, oh, we're going to come down here. And I genuinely thought there was a chance that we came down as well. Why did I think that? Well, because this move here is designed to try and trap you into thinking that we're going to see a bigger pull down than potentially we are. why do I not think that we see a big pull down? Well, obviously, because the M2 money supply is driving these markets. And I know you're like, oh, it's like a broken record. It keeps banging on about this. Guys, it is so damn obvious. Like, look at it. 82-day delay. Look, this is incredibly closely linked. Okay, every time it turns up, every time it goes sideways, every time it turns up, every time it tops out, comes back down, hits, like, just put it on your chart, okay? And anyone who's sitting there right now being like, oh, well, we need quantitative easing or we need to see rate cuts. Guys, the price of Bitcoin and altcoins in December reached highs that are higher than now. The total market cap of crypto was higher than now, and rates were higher, and so was quantitative tightening. In fact, quantitative tightening was happening at a rate of around $25 billion per month, where the Fed was selling off $25 billion of assets on their balance sheet every single month. That number is now 5, maybe even less. Rates came down from like 5% down to like 4.5%, give or take, I think something around that, okay? But incredibly close. Interest rates will be eventually bullish for crypto, but M2 money supply represents the amount of money in the system. It represents how much money you've got in your pocket or your savings account. It represents how much money can easily be turned into liquid deployable capital. Interest rates will affect global liquidity, which is much slower to arrive into capital. So yes, in the longer term, it's still bullish for crypto, but in the short term, it's the M2 that is pinning everything. And as you can see, we've had a little blip in the last day or two, which has had this little pullback down, but like by Tuesday next week, it's all the way up here. It's all the way back to previous all-time highs for the overall total market cap of crypto. You can see that Bitcoin sits around here. And if I'm wrong, and it doesn't happen in the next 8 days, worst case, it happens a week or two after that. And by July time, you're going to see Bitcoin at all-time highs, prices you probably can't even imagine. You're going to see your altcoins also pumping towards the upside. Yes, we might see a bit of a summer pullback before potential continuation later in the year, but we can't see that data yet. But here's the thing that got me more excited than ever, and it's something that I heard from Raoul Pal. Okay, obviously, M2 money supply is something I've heard from Raoul Pal. And like you, when I heard it in the first time, I was like, that sounds like BS. It can't possibly be true. So guess what I did? I put it on my chart, and I went and checked it, and double-checked it, and double-checked it, and eventually I was like, yeah, he's probably right. And I know people all the time down below are like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Guys, just go check it. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong because of something you've checked. But if you haven't checked it, it's insane. So what we're going to do is add the M2 money shift for Bitcoin by clicking on indicators.tradingview.com. And then I'm going to turn off the Bitcoin chart and we're going to look at something very, very cool. This is the gold chart. Now, let me do something interesting. If we go to the indicator and we turn it to 0, this is going to show us something very interesting. It's going to show us to the day what gold and the M2 money supply's relationship looks like. As you can see, the M2 money supply goes up, so does gold. And in fact, pretty much on current day, the movement of gold is very closely aligned with what happens with the M2 money supply. You can see it peaks here. Yes, it does dip and puts in a higher high. Okay, so yeah, a bit of divergence there. But you can see all of the little peaks come at very interesting times. It then rounds off. It follows up very closely. Recently, you can see that the gold's been dipping because the dollar's been going up. The dollar going up means gold comes down. Okay, typically. The dollar going up means that M2 comes down. So whatever happens today in gold should be showing you what's going to happen 82 days away in Bitcoin. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we turn off the M2 money supply and we look back 82 days for gold, bearing in mind today is what, 21st of May, and 82 days would take us back to, on gold, the start of March, approximately, give or take a day or two, then we can see that from this point, which is pretty much the end of February, start of March, the gold price goes up, okay? And Bitcoin will be doing something very damn similar to this, and then we'll probably be having a pullback that looks a little bit similar to this sometime in and around July. Maybe 3 weeks, maybe more. But by this point, the confidence is going to be restored to the market. We only ever see altcoins getting really like hammered and battered when Bitcoin decides to go sideways for a very long period of time. Usually after the first month or so, you still see a lot of altcoins pumping like crazy as confidence still remains in the market. It takes a little bit longer for the altcoins to get damaged in terms of where they might be going. So I appreciate people saying, I'm going to wait until the summer to be buying in because you might get another bite of the cherry. But I really don't think that the major market cap alts will come down as significantly at all. I do think that Ethereum could well end up at all-time highs some point before that pullback comes in the summer. I think Solana could. I think many of the large cap altcoins also will. And then what you're going to be left with is having to try and pick some of the like dodgier looking coins that are just like left over at the end of it. Guys, I think right now that we are very, very close to seeing something major happen. Okay? I appreciate that many people in the comments down below want me to be wrong, want me to fail for some reason that I just really can't understand. And that's fine. You know, get your kicks however you wish. And if I'm wrong, and it takes a little bit more than 8 days, let's say it takes 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, it doesn't effing matter. Because guess what? We haven't reached this new paradigm level yet. We haven't reached delusion and greed and all this crazy stuff. Okay, because we haven't had that massive, brutal capitulation. We've seen it across a lot of altcoins, yeah, but not in Bitcoin, and this is the key to it all. Anyway, if you're struggling to navigate these markets and you want to know exactly how to position yourself, how to understand all these different things that I've been talking about on today's video in more depth, how to join a Zoom call once a week where we go over all of these different details, where we go over the different altcoins that we're investing in, how much we're going to invest in them, how many percentages of our portfolio. We talk about all of the updates in the news, and only the most important data and news get shared. We give various different altcoin alerts for the different altcoins that we're buying into, and all of those other details. You can ask questions, you can share your portfolio, get feedback on your portfolio. All you got to do is join the Moon House. It's linked down below in the description. And what I'm going to do as this bull market kind of matures into time, I'm probably going to stop letting people in, mainly so that we can maintain kind of like the level of service that we have in there for the members that are there at the moment. At the moment, there's 2 full-time experts, as well as myself in there, pretty much on a daily basis, answering questions, handling different details as well. So if you want to join that, just link down below in the description. Now, guys, obviously, go away and do your own research and understand what I've been talking about. Go and have conviction in what I've been saying. If you don't want to invest into the markets, you think I'm an idiot, that's absolutely fine as well. I'm all for it. Leave a comment down below why you think I'm an idiot, and leave a comment down below explaining why. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to House of Crypto, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye-bye.